This conference will now be recorded.
All right, so today is Thursday, July 9th, and as always, everything that we're going to be talking about today is for educational purposes only, and nothing is intended as any type of investment advice. So again, we have a real nice pre-market, some real nice trades that came in so far this morning, and we got a bunch of stuff that we're going to be looking at. First thing is this VGFB. So we've hit 4 multiple times now. But what really something that big time stood out is as we were coming up to that 4, look at this position right here between 385 and 387. I mean, look at the based off its print personality, what it's been printing and showing us. That is a very, very big position underneath that 4. And if you look at the reaction once it came to 4 afterwards, nice big position there again as well. So we're definitely going to be looking forward to kind of break down towards the bottom, even based off the buying, even maybe a little bit further because of the amount of times that it hit 4. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look for that trigger back towards the upside, and definitely a high probability because there's a lot of money that we see going into this near its highs that those people are going to have to make money on. So overall, just want to continue to see building as the stock is pulling back. Within there, of course, we know there's going to be selling. It went from 192 all the way up to our highs here about 425. So after this pullback coming in, obviously, we still need to see that new buying coming in to show us that they're going to have to go, but it does have the buying for us to be able to break at least to 450. The next thing going to be looking at is NKLA. So NKLA this morning, if it lets me go, which it's probably not going to, but when we came up to the 60 level, we had some really nice ask prints at that 60. Remember, 60 being a psychological level, we kind of jumped up from it, but back on the way down, we ended up getting bid prints that came in at there as well. And we know that this thing has a huge range. You could see yesterday, $10.40. So we know pullbacks are going to be pretty substantial. So if we come back and we look at the prints coming in, we can see 59.50 bids. We have 59 bids. So we've already went down to 58, but right here, 58 in that kind of the 15 to 25 area. We did get some decent selling, so I would not be shocked to see this thing continue down on its way based off that buying that came in at 60 because of how early it was, and then obviously going to be looking for a trigger back towards that upside once we start to see these selling riders die down. SPCE, another one. So it doesn't look as pretty as it could. But the one thing that I'm just really interested in is this morning, you can see right after 8, we had a beautiful position that came in over 17, okay? And then followed up by 17.25. We have some ask prints at 17, and then 17.20 to 17.29. Just a ton of buying that's been happening, even though it's really not trading too well. So basically knowing that we still do need to pull back underneath that 17, and these 17.20 guys right here would tell me that it should happen fairly quickly. And then from there, going back up towards that buying, because this is really overall the bigger prints in this, even though it doesn't look great, have been nothing but buying. Next thing is IIHS. Oops, AIHS. Here we go. So on this way up, and I don't know if you were looking at the prints, but it was nothing but buying. I mean, after it's not going to let me go all the way back, but as we were coming up from 120 to 140 to 160 to 180, until we got basically to 2, there was really nothing but bigger buying. And it's a hard thing to do, especially when the stock is parabolic like this during the pre-market. So we definitely saw a ton coming into there. Unfortunately, at that 250 area, we didn't see anything that was that great. But over 250, you can see right here, this position 257, we have our position at 260. That's really, really interesting to me because now we have great buying at those highs. We've just pulled down into this little flag consolidation. So what we're going to be looking for is a real big, real breakout over. Now, obviously, we don't really want to see it hit 250 like it just kind of did. We got beautiful prints underneath and then at that 250. So we're still going to have to kind of sit in the consolidation for a little bit, but we would expect that big of a pullback from there. And then obviously another trigger breaking over this is going to show us that there's a lot more volume and a lot more room for this thing to be able to run. Buying is just absolutely phenomenal within it. So definitely something that we'll be watching very closely. You waited until second or third time to print the real show of hand yesterday. Not sure if it's worth noting. Absolutely. Anything that shows you a pattern, Davis, is worth noting because guess what? It's something for you to anticipate. And if it doesn't happen, guess what? That's probably going to show you that it's a release. So definitely, absolutely, great information coming in. But overall, just with the amount of buying that we just saw come at 250, I am going to have to, like I said, expect a little bit more of a pullback before we get that move. My only concern, too, is that it's up so much right now, and it made that move during the pre-market. Once we open, we might get halted if it really does make that move. So just kind of keep that in mind as you're looking for what you're going to be trading this morning. DSS. All right, we have some beautiful volume that's been trading this morning, almost 6.6 million shares already. Now, the one thing is at this 10 level, I haven't seen anything. It's been kind of sitting there ever since about 8:30. And I haven't seen anything that really jumps out at me that wasn't selling, because I've been seeing a lot more selling around here than I have been seeing any type of buying to show building to be able to come back up. Now this morning, because it happened so early, there weren't any real great prints that I saw coming in near those highs. So unfortunately, it's kind of looking like we're going to be coming back towards that downside. And it's not near the best level. 10, obviously, huge psychological level. So we're really kind of breaking down underneath, and you can see the selling has no problem coming in. And this much selling, I would have assumed it to be a higher if it wasn't shorting, because of the fact that, I mean, you know, you're talking about giving up almost $2.40, give or take, in profits coming back underneath right now. So if we keep seeing this selling, we're going to end up coming right back down where we came from, because you can see where the original move started. I know it's very, very early, but at the same time, there's just nothing there. So the stock really made its move before 7 on nothing. And when we see that happen, we see selling start to come in. A lot of times we end up seeing it come right back down. So definitely go out there, try to get short shares. If you're not able to, then, you know, unfortunately, we would need to see some way more buying coming into this to even have any type of clue that this thing is going to be able to come back near its highs. AYRO, so we know we've been watching this over the past few days. If we come back to the other day, we know we have beautiful buying that's still up on near those highs at around 8 and 750, which obviously it has not satisfied yet. So it's starting to make some decent moves. It's got some decent volume coming into the pre-market. The only thing is, again, where, you know, I don't see anything that kind of jumps out at me. There's definitely some buying here, but overall, it's nothing that, you know, I saw and said, okay, this is exactly what's going to happen. And probably the best prints that we have right here, about 650 to 677. But overall, definitely something I want to keep an eye on, knowing the story and knowing that it does have that buying near those highs. If we get some real nice volume and a trigger to the upside, definitely going to be a high percentage trade there. VGFB, so another one which I think we already went over. Yes, we did. That was first. And then the only other thing that I see is I'm going to keep an eye on alt still. Alt had some really great buying that came in yesterday, but as we talked about, a lot of times you get that 15 minutes of fame, but it didn't really get killed. We never got that kiss of death coming in, because you could see it came right back and just started consolidating right around where it was building. Now, we know that this thing can really move, and we want to get away from this building phase, because that's where we're going to see the most shakes. That's where we're going to see the most consolidated trading. So we do want to get out of there. And we do need to see something, because if you look at the prints this morning, there's just not really much there whatsoever. But I'm going to keep an eye on it, just because yesterday we did get some real nice buying. It is a stock that we know can fly. So it's going to be kind of at the bottom of the side list right now, because of it's not really trading too much, but overall do like it as well. QD, let's take a look. Yeah, see, I can't really get behind it. The reason being is because of the fact that, first of all, it jumped up, but after it jumped up, that was it. There was just no real interest. There's just better things for us to look at, and not for nothing, but if we come into yesterday, into the aftermarket, you could see it jumped up. It looks like it jumped up on a ton of selling, so it almost looks like this was a pull up rather than an actual move towards that upside. So I'm not really not really sold for looking at the morning. And then, of course, as I started our meeting, something went nuts. So CLSK, absolutely no question here. Let's see, a beautiful buying that came in at that 4 level. Doesn't look like we pulled back. So 908. Yeah, we did, actually. 90, not really. Yeah, so it still looks like we would need a little bit more of a pullback to get in here, because if you look after this position, in order for the stock to really just to start to run, we need to see some type of real nice reaction buying that comes in above it, and I just don't see that there yet. So I would be expecting a pullback underneath, but definitely beautiful, beautiful buying at that 4 level. All right, guys, anything else out there that I missed? LMD, huge volume day yesterday. LMND. Let's take a look. Okay. Yeah, but definitely, but unfortunately right now can't put it on the list. There's just nothing here. No trading going on yet, but definitely something if you were watching it yesterday to put on your scanner. But we definitely got some good stuff out there for this morning. We definitely, in some cheaper stocks, have some really nice buying and really nice potential. So as always, guys, let's make sure that we're focusing on what our habits are. We're focusing on the things that are going to directly affect our trading today. All right, so I will talk to everybody in the chat, and happy trading.